whole fleet is going to be. Right being on this train?
Yeah, it's a 2-6.
In other words, gentlemen, unless I...
Rise again.
It was defeated on account of 26-25.
Well, in 1972, we had something like 80 guards at Port Waratah, and they moved a small amount of tonnage of coal. In 1982, we have only 60 guards there, and the carrying of tonnage has increased some 800%. And in return for increased productivity, we're faced with seeing guards removed from the back of trains. I think that's what you call gratitude, isn't it, the word?
Even though it's now only beginning to fill, it's not hard to imagine what a magnificent recreation area Lake St Clair behind Glenny's Creek Dam will be in a few years. And that's what the state government said when they built Glenny's Creek Dam. But now the government's attitude is we've got no money to develop facilities here, and unless the public shows interest in developing those facilities, then we'll keep people out. We'll close it to the public. In the original environmental impact statement for the dam, the government talked in glowing terms about the area's tourism potential. But now, with no cash available, it's ready to accept proposals from any group prepared to supply its own facilities. This lack of government action is worrying Singleton Council. And the properly planned development of Lake St Clair is being given a high priority by the council's recently formed Tourism Development Committee.
Potential for this place is magnificent, and really magnificent for camping, walking, fishing, a whole range of activities, not just for boating and skiing.
The suggestion that individual groups develop their own interests, do you think that's a good one?
I think it'll lead to piecemeal development, and really without control and coordination. I think what will happen is the most popular uses will get in first, and really we'll underuse the potential for everything else.
If the state government won't do anything about an overall plan, is it possible that a local committee, a local tourist committee if you like, could take on that role?
Well, so we've set up a tourism development committee recently, and one of the things we've done is have a talk to Water Resources Commission early, with the prospect of getting involved in really coordinating the use of this facility when it's finished. We'll take whatever action we have to, I think, to ensure its full use, because it's a superb tourism attraction for the whole area.
Commissioning of this new rail receiver unit marks the virtual completion of an upgrading of the Port Waratah coal handling facility that's effectively lifted Newcastle's coal loading capacity to 28 million tonnes a year. The new rail receiver unit more than doubles the facility's ability to receive coal. Running at 4,600 tonnes an hour, the receiver unit can empty a 42-wagon train in under half an hour. The two receiver units at Port Waratah now handle 80% of all coal exported from Newcastle. Conveyor system shifting coal to both the port's ship loadings. As well as adding to overall capacity, the Port Waratah upgrading has improved the flexibility of coal handling, a vital point in Newcastle because 70 different coal types are received and 40 different blends exported.
It gives us probably one of the most flexible plants for loading coal for the export trade in the world. We can handle both big ships and small ships, and we can handle lots of blending and lots of different coal types.
Has the technology that's been used been homegrown?
Yes, it's all homegrown. We've started off with what was built in 1976, and we've put what we've learnt in from then into this final facility, and we're quite proud of it.
At the Junction Demonstration School today, it looked like these children were applauding the start of the summer holidays. But as pleased as they were to be breaking up for the year, that's not what they were doing. The children were taking part in a clap-out, an annual ceremony in which the whole school claps for the 6th graders who are graduating to high school. Clearly, all the children were excited at the prospect of 6 weeks' holiday. You only had to look at the ear-to-ear smiles. But not all school children have holidays to look forward to. For the 3 pupils who travel with the Ashton Circus, today was like any other day. While most children were winding down for the end of the year, Tara, Golda and Becky were studying in their caravan classroom. For them it is the end of the school year too, but not time for a rest. After the books were closed, it was straight into costume and into the ring. As scores of local children visiting the circus as an end-of-year treat poured into the big top, the Ashton girls were busy rehearsing. While other children are enjoying themselves at the beach, they will spend their holidays performing around New South Wales. But they don't seem to mind. Travelling with the circus is something they enjoy.
What many have described as B-Day has finally arrived in the Hunter area. The first random breath testing station rolled out onto Newcastle streets last night to a mixed reception. Of 150 drivers randomly tested throughout the night, none registered an alcohol reading in excess of 2.5. Sydney Police also reported very encouraging results. Only 3 people out of 1,070 tests reported a positive result. Meanwhile, taxis in most areas say they have been inundated with bookings as a result of random breath testing. Sergeant Stan Goffert, head of the Newcastle Highway Police, spoke last night about the new system as the first breath analysis bus, affectionately known as the booze bus, came into operation. Stan, with random breath testing, do you think it will make an impact on the road toll?
We are hoping so. At present, as you can see, there has been 25 drivers stopped. Apparently, it has had the desired effect on motorists already.
And you'll be continuing, of course, over the Christmas holidays?
Yes, we're working 7 days a week right through probably to the end of the school holidays.
On the whole, it appears most motorists seem to feel little inconvenienced by the whole procedure, provided the test proves negative. Excuse me, sir, can I just ask you, how do you feel about random breath testing?
I think part of it's necessary for it to, try and stop all the deaths on the road through alcohol, but I think the level stinks, 0.05. It's a mile too low.
Do you feel inconvenienced by being pulled over this evening?
No, not at all.
What do you feel about random breath testing?
Well, I think it's got to be done, and I think it's a good idea.
You don't feel inconvenienced?
Well, as I said, it's got to be done.
At 11 o'clock this morning at Newcastle's #1 sports ground, it looked anything but cricket weather, as overnight rain had forced the wicket to be covered. The umpires took a look and headed back for the warmth of the pavilion. But the light rain did not stop the game on the hill. It was to be the only ball in use in the morning session. And one would have thought this young couple could have found a better way to fill in a wet Sunday morning. But after an early lunch, the covers came off and the game got underway at 1:15. New South Wales resumed at 7 for 301. It was obvious that quick runs were their intention. Test bowler Jeff Lawson and keeper Steve Rickson were determined to hit the ball hard. The very next ball from Ian Cullen and Rickson was out for 20, with the score at 8 for 309. Pascoe went caught behind for duck and McCosker closed at 9 for 316.
I'm going to make this dramatic.
More rain and 30 minutes of time was lost before the New South Wales pacemen were let loose, and the Southerners were soon in trouble, as Len Pascoe drew first blood when he caught and bowled Julian Lynn for 5. Next to go was Jeff Richardson, who played over 1 from Lawson and was out for 3. Yallop survived a couple of comfortable balls before losing his off stump to Michael Whitney. The procession continued as Dav Watmore went caught and bowled to spinner Murray Bennett in his first over for just 16. The session ended with the Victorians deep in trouble at 4 for 64.
The two men appeared on a number of charges relating to offences committed up to 5 months ago. Each were charged with 4 separate counts of assault and robbery, including 2 bank hold-ups committed in July and September. They were also charged with stealing a police uniform and weapons from the Lambton police station on September the 1st. The two were arrested early on Sunday morning following a 5-hour siege in Beaumont Street, Hamilton. The court was told that the siege involved more than 30 police who were called to the scene following a break-in at a news agency. In relation to this matter, the two were charged with break-enter with intent to steal and one of the police in charge of the operation was Detective Sergeant Kevin Parson. January the 5th.
This morning, from Mrs. Branch and Mr. Saul, it was a congratulatory visit from family and neighbours. 30-year-old Mr. Saul, who filled out the winning coupon, came around last night to neighbour Mrs. Sparks to tell her of the good news.
I was rolling up Christmas presents and Terry came down and knocked at the door and came in and said, I said, how many numbers have we got, Terry? And I said, 3 or 4. And he said, no. And he come in, he said, where's your book? And we got the papers there, and Terry's going, I said, how many? He said, all them. Oh, no. I said, no, 6.
Have you got any sort of system in working out the numbers that you use on the coupons?
I draw out of the hat.
Straight out of the hat?
Straight out of the hat and just put the number down on the bit of paper and they find on the coupon and that, and that's how it come out.
With his $150,000 share of the $300,000, Mr. Sewell says he's also going to help his family financially and buy himself a video tape recorder. And he'll keep trying to win again.
New South Wales' hopes of a breakthrough were thwarted this morning by Dean Jones and Jeff Miles, who steadily built on their overnight partnership. New South Wales Peter Miles and from Jones as well. Miles' 5th came up in this session. After lunch, Ray Bright took to the New South Wales attack and made certain Victoria would not lose this match. Miles had compiled an invaluable 75 runs before Jeff Lawson had him plumb in front. But Ray Bright was in a mean mood and took 13 runs off this over from test bowler Glenn Pascoe. His 50 came up in 103 minutes and included 8 forward. So with the score at 7 for 479 and with 1 session and 20 minutes remaining, Yallop declared and gave New South Wales 253 runs to chase.
Most of the external influences that will come to bear on Australia will be positive, particularly towards the end of next year. Also, We're seeing now in the regional indicators in the Hunter and in other parts of Australia definite improvements, and the housing industry, for example, is now showing the most optimistic signs it has for some time. So looking at the economic indicators both in Australia and overseas, the signs are there for improvement.
What stopped it in the past, apart from the worldwide recession?
I think largely because we still are going through a reshaping of our whole industrial base, and this will have to go on for some time. We're not nearly to the end of it yet. And until that's through, then we will be having hard times, but then we've expected that. We know that we couldn't have gone on as we were at the beginning of the 70s, but by the time it's over, we'll have a far better economy.